Hey, hi guys, this is Akshay from Stack Mental team, and in today's video, we are going to learn how to set up a LAMP environment, which is Apache, MySQL, and PHP in your Linux environment with MongoDB and Composer on your either Amazon EC2 with an Ubuntu instance or on your local Ubuntu machine. Okay, so no matter where your system is, if it has Ubuntu or Linux supported environment, you can always follow these procedures. Okay, so MongoDB and Composer are something optional. If you want to take it as an additional knowledge, or if you want to use it, it's up to you. But default, we are going to move with Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So at certain point of times, we are gonna need some access to some of the folders so that we could upload PHP scripts and see whether it is running or not, right? So yeah, that's a quick thing. And you can see that first we'll proceed with step 1 of installing Apache, then we'll install MySQL, then we'll install PHP with extensions and MongoDB client if you want, and at last we'll install Composer if you are using any applications, or you want to install any third-party libraries or third-party vendor files, like to run the MongoDB. Okay, the MongoDB queries in the sense to sync up with the MongoDB Atlas account. Okay, you need to have a vendor package. Okay, so we'll discuss at the end of video, but we'll also have to make sure that we have MongoDB client installed in our PHP. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. So in our previous video, we learned how to create an EC2 instance using an Ubuntu environment, right? Yeah. So we're gonna learn how to now set up the entire PHP application environment. Okay, to make sure at certain point of times, if we are having the server running or RFIs running, we will open this two addresses. Okay, first is the IP address. So just copy the link instead of directly opening it, because if you click on it or you right click and open it, it would add HTTPS in your browser. In the case that we have not installed SSL, so it would just not show you any output. Okay, and this is your IPv4 DNS URL. Okay, so we most of the time see, right, we have amazon.aws.com. Okay, so for now we are not getting any output. Okay, it says site cannot be reached because we do not have any server installed. We have set up the Ubuntu environment, but we don't have any server installed. So we're gonna quick connect with our instance via SSH, and we'll make sure that we install the packages that we want through the SSH. Okay, so I have logged into my SSH over here. Okay, okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a series of commands. So don't worry, I'm gonna provide this link in the description where you can have a look on this commands at any point of time. Okay, even if you are not getting it from the video, if you want to copy paste it, you can just follow the link below in the description. Go to that page and you'll have all these commands. Okay, so these commands are tried and tested. Okay, it's not like you'll have to wander 3 to 4 websites if you're getting any error. These commands, I have tried it myself. I have tried it 2 to 3 times to make sure that if there are any errors or not, to make sure that you do not wander around a couple of websites for searching the errors and something like that. Okay, so we're first gonna go with the update and upgrade. So we'll have to always make sure that before installing or after installing the package, our system has all the latest updates. So sudo apt update. Okay, this did not go well. It's installing the update, it's checking and installing for the update. Then the next command that we are going to run is the upgrade command. So we'll make sure that all our packages are upgraded. I'll just clean it so every time I type a new command, you'll be able to see it. Okay, so okay, my bad. We just ran the apt update command. Now I'll run the apt upgrade. Okay, so it would ask you for some additional space because it would have to make sure all the dependencies are installed for the packages that it is upgrading. Okay, so it would just take around 6 MB or 7, maybe max to max 50 MB. So yeah, I don't think that should be a hurdle for me or you at any point of time, right? So yeah, it would take some time. Okay, it usually takes let's say 15 to 20 minutes to set up this entire environment, or maybe less than that if you have got a good hands-on about things, what is going to happen next, what's that you need to do next. It's kind of experience that you'll have to take. So yeah, when I was new to AWS, it took me quite a while. So I thought of sharing this knowledge with all you, because I was wandering from here and there, and searching who of my friends can help me. Some used to help me on monetary benefits, some used to help me to share the knowledge. Okay, so yeah, it's a learning phase. So I thought that knowledge should not be charged at any point of time. So I thought of sharing with all of you. So yeah, we are coming at the end of. Okay, upgrading the packages. So it is upgrading, it's on 99%, and yep, it is done. So what are we gonna do next is we're gonna install Apache, sudo apt install Apache 2. Okay, whenever you want to install a package, this is your default command, and then comes your package name. So I want to install Apache 2, so I'll choose with Apache. It is installing the packages, is checking for the packages on specific links, and then it installs, right? So after installing Apache, okay, as you can see that I have given you quick handy commands over here, right? If you want to check the status of your Apache, if it is down, if it is running or something like that, you can just use this command to check the status. For me, it shows that Apache service, and it is showing that it's active, running. Okay, at any point of time, if my service is stopped and I want to start it, I'll use the start command. At any point of time I want to stop my Apache, I'll use the stop command. If I want to restart my Apache, I'll use the restart command. If I want to reload my Apache by making sure that I don't drop any of my client connections or users who are connecting to my application, I'll just simply use the reload command. Okay, so it's a good practice that whenever you update your Apache after a specific duration of time, you restart it. Okay, so I'm gonna sudo systemctl restart Apache 2. Right, so yeah, it is restarted. Okay, now to make sure, now to see if Apache is really running on my server or not, if you remember, we had opened these two links, right? What are we gonna do is we're gonna just hit to make it visible to you. I'm doing a right click and reload. For yourself, you can just press F5. Okay, similar over here, and we can see that it shows Apache 2 Ubuntu default page, which means that we have successfully installed Apache on our server without any errors. Right, so now you're going to proceed with the MySQL installation. Okay, so it's a quick 3-liner command. This would be to install the MySQL server. This would be to make sure that our installation is secure by setting up credentials and some other security features as well. And the last command we'll use to check if MySQL is installed by logging in. Right, so we'll use the first command, sudo apt install MySQL server. Okay, so it's up to you. If I have written apt get over here, okay, and I have written apt over here, so it's up to you. If you want to use with apt get, you can use with apt get, or just you want to use apt, you can use apt. Okay, so I'll proceed with yes. Okay, it is searching for packages and installing it. So to make sure that all the necessary dependencies are requested, downloaded, and are available on your system to make the queries work. Okay, I am not going to use MySQL. I'm going to use MongoDB. But at similar point of times, if at some point of time I want to use MySQL, or you want to use MySQL instead of MongoDB, this command would be handy to you. Okay, so we are gonna proceed with the secure installation now, as we have now installed MySQL server. Okay, so yeah, first of all, it's gonna pass you, it has a password plugin, so it's gonna ask you if you want to use the validate password plugin. Okay, so it has a priority like low, medium, strong. So I usually prefer strong, but for the sake of this video, I don't forget the password again and again. I don't end up remembering what the password was. I'll just keep it simple and I'll choose low for now, but for you I'll recommend to select 2 for strong. I'll enter my password. Okay, so if you see, it shows the estimated strength of my password, and also ask me if I want to continue with this password. I'll say yes. Okay, it shows you if you want to remove anonymous users. I'll say yes, I don't want any anonymous users. Okay, if you want to log into your MySQL database via SSH or CLI or command line or other third-party applications, so if you want to log in through it, always keep this option tick. Or if you do not want, you just want to log in through this SSH of Amazon AWS, you should choose no. Okay, so in my condition, I'll choose no, because at every point of time I use AWS. Okay, so it also asks if you want to remove any test databases, if you have access to it. We don't have any, so I'm assuming that MySQL has created their own, so they are going to remove it. This command would reload your privileges table for now. Okay, privileges table are the tables which has all the rights defined already for which user and how it would be. So for default root user, it would have all the master privileges. So I'll say yes, I want to flush the privileges and add a new one. Okay, so that is the use of secure installation. So now that we have installed MySQL, we'll now check that if our MySQL is running. So default, we always have root as username, and password is the one that we use to set up while executing the setup. So hooray, it shows all the MySQL is running. So I'll do show databases. Yeah, MySQL is running on my server now. So this gives me a confirmation, right? So yeah, so this tells us that we have successfully installed MySQL and we have installed PHP as well. Apache as well. Now you're going to move with PHP. So ideally, most of you would have seen or used this first line command. Okay, seeing that it would install a stable and default version of PHP, that is PHP version 5 or version 7. Okay, but I always prefer version 7.2 or 7.3. Okay, which I cannot achieve through this command line. For this, we'll always have to add a third-party repository and make sure that we have everything installed in it, right? So yeah, we're going to use this to add the repository. First, this is a third-party repository which will help us to install PHP version 7.3. Okay, so okay, it shows you that it has some bugs and features over here, and keywords. If you are using PHP Apache, you are advised to add this package. If you are using Nginx, you are advised to add this package. So we'll surely add it because they are providing security feature or maybe patch. Okay, so I'll press enter over here. This would clone the repository and install it. So after this, we are going to install this package that was recommended to us. So I'll just press the above arrow key so that it loads the previous command, and I'll just paste this over here and let the command line interface do the magic. So it will also install the recommended package, and it's reading and installing. Okay, so it has installed the default package as well. Okay, that was required. So now we simply run sudo apt get update. So now we have installed a lot of packages. We'll have to make sure that we update and upgrade them, right? So yeah, that's what I mentioned, that every time we install package or uninstall, we should make sure that we run the update and upgrade command to make sure that our system is up to date, right? So yeah, that's it. Before installing PHP, we'll have to make sure that we have all the packages with us on the system to avoid any errors. Now that we have installed everything, now we need to install sudo apt install php 7.3. Okay, if you just directly run this installation, it would not install. It will give you an error. You have to make sure that the dependency packages are also installed. Okay, so I'm installing this. Okay, if it's saying that it will occupy 18 MB, 17.9 MB of space, so 18 MB, that's I'm completely fine with it. Okay, so yeah, it is installing. It would install all the required packages, dependencies. Okay, the setting up with the Apache. It would do all the things that is required. Okay, just need to sit back and relax and wait for the installation to complete. Right, it would take 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or max to max 5 minutes, not more than that. Okay, so yeah. So it shows that everything is installed. Okay, so yeah, now we have to install PHP 7.3 extensions. Okay, for installing extensions we have syntax sudo apt get install PHP version, your version number and the extension name. So I have created this list of some handy commands that would be required or that are required at a certain point of time. So we'll just load and install everything at one shot. Okay, so this would make sure that the basic packages while we are running PHP or the things that at some point of times we require. So this is going to install it to avoid any kind of what we say errors. As in the previous step we saw that we installed MySQL, right? So we need to also install the MySQL the support library. So yeah, we are installing MySQL over here. Okay, now as I mentioned that I'll also use MongoDB, right? So yeah, I'll also install the MongoDB extension. So make sure that MongoDB client is present with my PHP. Okay, but first of all, now we're going to check if PHP is running on my server or not. Okay, so I'll connect to my SSH. I'll connect through the FTP. Okay, so yeah, this is the first installation. That's why it asks you if it wants to add the fingerprint to the system. So www-html okay, or www-html. Okay, so this is the place where all your HTML and your codes and scripts is going to work. So make sure whenever you place a script or you auto deploy, you deploy in this folder. Okay, in upcoming videos we'll also learn how to set up an auto deploy environment with your Bitbucket account. Okay, so yeah, this is the PHP info file. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, so we'll have it with php info.php. So what I'm gonna do is, for the sake to see if it is running or not, okay, php info. Okay, so it would give you an error because I do not have php info.php file on the server, right? So yeah, I am now going to upload this file over here. Okay, so it denied me, right? So yeah, now what we are going to do is we are going to provide the access to this folder. So as I mentioned that this command might be handy for us, right? So I'm gonna give access chmod r777 to var www entire thing over here. So now that I have 77 access, 777 means all permissions to read, write, execute and do whatnot. Okay, so it is always recommended to not keep 777, but if you want to, you can keep it. Now I upload this file over here and yeah, it is uploaded successfully. Now what we are going to do is we'll refresh this page. Okay, and see, it shows the PHP version 7.3 as we did at the time of installation, right? I'm going to refresh this. It also shows PHP over here. Now we will see that if Mongo is installed, right? Now there is no Mongo, correct? But it does has MySQL driver for PDO, MySQLi. Okay, so we are going to use Mongo. So that's just one liner. So sudo apt install and it would be MongoDB. I don't know, sometimes forget the the code or the command. So yeah, it's php-mongodb. Sorry, php-mongodb, and wait for the client to install it in my system. Okay, it shows it is taking some packages and installing it. So it is installing the latest version 1.8 compatible with your latest PHP version. It will install the version according to your PHP. Okay, so you not need to worry about it. So I'll just refresh my both the pages and I'm gonna do a Control F quickly. Okay, it is not showing, so maybe I'll have to run this command. Okay, or maybe I messed up with the command or something like that is what I'm assuming. So okay, let's give it a try this time. sudo apt get install php mongodb. Okay, it says that nothing is there to install. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna restart my Apache server. Okay, it's just restarted, and I'll just check if the driver is installed now. I hope it should be installed. Yeah, it is installed now. Okay, maybe okay. So after installing the extensions, you have to make sure that you restart your Apache server as well, right? That's learning for me as well. Okay, so as you can see that it is a 1.8.1, the latest stable version installed as per the PHP compatibility. Okay, this will help me to connect with MongoDB. Okay, now to make sure that my PHP script is running with the MongoDB connection. Now, if you remember, okay, I'll just make sure to download this file first. Okay, view and edit. Okay, I'll comment this line, and now if you remember, I had I had this command for MongoDB at the very beginning. Okay, to make to test if my MongoDB is running or not. Okay, now this requires vendor autoload, which means a vendor file, which means a composer. So I'll install sudo. Okay, first of all, I'll run composer to see if there is already a composer on my system or not. It shows no. So sudo apt install composer. Okay, not. I think I'm very good at spelling mistakes. Okay, so we are installing it and it's getting installed. Let's wait for a couple of seconds and it's installed. So let's see, and yeah, we have the composer install of 1.6.3. So I'm not gonna do anything more else, and I'm just gonna move with checking if my MongoDB installed client and my command is running well. So what I have done is, in this PHP file, I have set up my connections already. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am having some default variables and I'm switching it dynamically as per the server. So if say I'm working on my local, it would load the default dev variables. If the code is running on production server, it would pick up the production servers, and by default it would pick up the dev environment variables. Okay, and I have defined the variables over here. Okay, so for MongoDB, I'm using a function for establishing connection. So in this establishing connection, I'll use the string. I'll check if it is greater than 20 or not in the response, and return connection. So every time when you get the MongoDB connection, you have to make sure that you pass the collection, name it. So collection is basically, if you take it in MySQL terms, it's a tables. So every time it's not possible me to run one command and this establishment command, 3 commands. So I just wanted short and sweet, just one single command which gives me everything. So I created this one more function where I select the DB, and then I take collection name as whatever I want. I'll see corrections or something if I want to perform the CRUD operations. Then I'll pass it over here on the function. The function will load the things and it will give me one collection output on which I can do anything I want. Okay, so yeah, this is the script that I have. So I am gonna save this and upload this. Now this is gonna make connection with the MongoDB at last. So I have used MongoDB at last over here to make sure where I'm storing my data into the databases. So I'll just quickly refresh this, and it shows a very good error. It's not running anything. Oh my god, yeah, I remember now. Why is it not running? We installed the composer, but we forgot to install the dependency. If you see, I have requested vendor autoload over here, and you can see that there is no vendor file over here. So what are we gonna do is we're gonna switch to cd var www html and do a quick list. Okay, so we are into the folder. I'm gonna do composer require MongoDB and wait for a few seconds. It sometimes take 3 minutes, 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Just be patient, it would get installed. Okay, parallelly, if you see, it's getting installed. It has created the composer notation, which means it is gathering the required information and then installing. So just be patient for a minute or 2 or 5 minutes, and you can see that it is installing, right? It shows that the installation is done, which means now I have a vendor folder. Now I have an autoload in it. Okay, now this autoload is being loaded over here. It will do all the jiggles and juggles and get me the connections, and once I refresh the page, it will pick up the data from the MongoDB Atlas and it will show, hooray, we have connected with MongoDB successfully. So now, to make sure that if you use MongoDB or you use MySQL, that's up to you, but I have done with MySQL too much, so now I'm switching to MongoDB. Okay, so I hope you like this video, guys, and it was quite informative, and I tried to keep it as descriptive as possible. I'll provide this command list and the necessary resources that are required in the description. You just go on to the our blog and make sure that you have those command lists handy. Okay, so yeah, just to conclude this video, we were successfully able to set up a LAMP environment on our Amazon EC2, or let's say on an Ubuntu machine, but successfully installing Composure and MongoDB, and I'm also seeing that we got the reflected data from our MongoDB server. Okay, so just to show you that this is no local data that we are storing, I have created a proper MongoDB client over here where I have provided all my credentials and everything, and it is taking the data from the server and showing it. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you like the video. Kindly share it in your network if you find it useful. Like the video, share the video, comment your views on it, and don't hesitate to ask for any queries. I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.